Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The next article that I have here to talk about is an article that will exemplify the way our leaders think, process information, and they reach conclusions. And it's a very, very sad story. And I touched upon this subject before, but I will try now to make it a little bit more complete since I have this baboon talking about a subject that he is just you'll see what I'm talking about when I start reading. This article comes from the Insider from July 5, 2022, and is by Rebecca Cohen. What do you expect? Both names are right there on the target. And this is the title. Illinois Governor Pritzker says the founding fathers wouldn't have approved of today's gun laws since they, and I'm quoting, since they carried muskets, not assault weapons. Wow, isn't that deep? So if you would talk in front of a kindergarten group of kids, I would say, okay, it's okay to fool them. But since he addresses adults, I'm thinking that just insult our intelligence. But since he knows that he addresses people of an IQ on average 86 probably and below, then he allows himself to do this. So he says Illinois Governor Pritzker said the founding fathers wouldn't approve of today's gun laws. How do you know? First, there's no way for you to know or for me to know if they will approve or not. And I will show you how, because we're going to make analogies. We're going to put the same, we're going to make some statements regarding some other issues, and we're going to analyze them like that. And I'm going to use the same logic or illogic that this individual is using. And I'm quoting, our founders carried muskets, not assault weapons. So this is his argument. Our founding fathers were carrying muskets, not assault weapons. Okay, so let's try like this. First, so he knows that they would not approve. Does he know if he would approve with abortion? Would they approve of abortion or not? Okay, would they have approved, for instance, of let's say 2 terms or 5 terms of presidency? We know what they thought about that one. Whatever. What do you think? Now, would they agree with the death penalty or not? Would they agree with um, being what you think you are or what you actually are? Let's say right now I feel like I'm Napoleon, or I feel like I'm your boss and I'm firing you right now. And you have to respect that because that's the way I feel. So do you think they would approve to that? Do you think our founding fathers would approve, for instance, of changing certain things? You think so? Okay, so let's put the side. That's the first thing. You don't know what they would approve of. Okay, now the second thing. They were not carrying automatic weapons. They were carrying muskets. Okay, well, just because the automatic weapons were not then again, you don't know how they would react. Now, if you make a point that only what they had then should be considered that we should have now, then I don't think they have cell phones then. I don't think they had, I don't know, toothpaste. I don't remember. I don't think they had vaccines. I don't think they had, for instance, um, I don't know, newspapers. Obviously, they had newspapers, but not internet, laptops, television, radio. So I'm pretty sure they would disagree. They would not approve of a television or a, uh, internet or a television or movies, and let alone other stuff. So by the same intelligent individual here, we should not have everything that they didn't have then. So let's put it aside, but obviously what works on his behalf, probably they would have approved with certain kind of marriages, certain kind of, you know what I mean, things like this, that would be just fine because he knows that. Now, when I came here to the United States, I went to college, and when I went to college, I the professors were saying something, and some students were making this point, and they were, and I knew it was wrong, but I was like so surprised by the whole thing that I didn't have an answer. It's like someone will tell you what you love, I don't know, your parents, or what you love your country. You're like, oh, of course I love my country, I love my parents, but to try to think, why do you really love them? It's kind of like you have to think about what you know why, but it's not because I love them. All right. So you have to think about something. It's so too obvious. So let's say, for instance, they will make all kind of claims, philosophical and political claims, that, for instance, I will give you, for instance, the example of homosexuality. That's one of the examples that was used over there, and they were saying, that homosexuality is natural. Actually, I mean, what's natural? Heterosexuality or homosexuality? Well, we would say that it's nature. What's a majority, right? So what's overwhelmingly, in an animal reign, which is heterosexuality, right? So then you have homosexuality as being outside of normality. I mean, that's by definition, however you want to call it. But nevertheless, that's how it is. More in looking the animal reign, you don't see lions copulating with the lions. You see lionesses with lions, right? And if you see the same parrots, you don't see two parrots, male parrots, doing this, or two, you know what I mean. So looking around, and they would mention one example of one certain kind of, I don't know what that was. I can't even remember what it was, where actually there were some examples of homosexual behavior, and they were using that against the rest. So let's say that's if you take it by numbers of animal reigns and animal, different, you know, tigers, wolves, I don't know, cockroaches, rats, swans, and all that. With that example, there would be, I don't know how many billions versus one or two or three examples. And they were saying, because of those three examples, see, the general rule is not general. So that would not confirm the rule. That means, the general rule doesn't apply. So that's not, if it's not 100%, it's not 100%. I was like, but that means I always gave the example. Well, are we bipeds or are we not biped? Do we walk in two legs or we don't? And just because we have some people who might not walk, let's say 1 in 7 billion, right, would walk on four limbs, then we can't define it that, hey, human beings are walking in two limbs. They are walking on how many they want. You can't make definitions. And I didn't understand that at first. And then let me get this. And then I read these readings in social theory, and it says the classic tradition of postmodernism. And here, okay, it was very nice until I got to the last chapter of this book, which was talking about part 3, modern and postmodernism. I said, what is this? Okay. And it was critical theory. And when I read about critical theory, about Herbert Marcuse, that's a very intelligent guy, and then Jürgen Habermas, and I was like, what's going on with this guy? He's just, to criticism of everything. You come with it's kind of like nihilistic approach. You don't come with solving with something you just critic, but you don't come to an end. I criticize because I want to reach something, or I reach a conclusion. You just destroy. It's like a destroy. And then it's postmodernism, which is called also neo-Marxism. So I realized that this is actually is a um, um, you know, they destroy the old philosophical way of thinking and our way of thinking with this postmodernism garbage. And, it's called, I can't remember the term right now. It's, I can't remember the term. It's the something when you destroy different, not the fragmentation. I can't remember the term. Sorry. Nevertheless, it's, I have to remember it. I got it. Deconstruction. So deconstruction of something, what is that? What do you think they were deconstructing? So nevertheless, I realized that in my college was a neo-Marxism and the social science I'm talking about. not in mathematics or I don't know physics and so on. In social sciences, it was this deconstruction theory with their I would say destroying our way of thinking, and this is what they were applying. So this guy, the Illinois guy, uh, right? He's just using this kind of nonsense. And imagine this guy that has to make a decision on something very important for his state, the governor, and he thinks like this. I'm pretty sure he's just pulling our leg with this kind of thinking or not thinking. But imagine that he's thinking like that. Oh, I'm pretty sure they would disagree because they didn't care. They didn't carry automatic weapons. They carried only muskets. Really? I mean, how many things I mean, I can extrapolate it and use thousands of examples that they didn't have it then, but we have it now. All right, let's go with the cars. We're gonna go with the cars. Let's go with the speed limits. They didn't have speed limits over there when they're on their horses, did they? I mean, okay, we're gonna get rid of our cars. We're gonna use only horses from now on and horse-drawn carriages. By this guy's brain or lack of, there you have it. All right, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.